Hello, welcome everyone to the FPL video. My name is Mo, and today what I'll be going through is the players watch list for game week 7. So game week 6 ended yesterday, and what we're going to be doing is going through players that I've identified who look good to bring into your team this game week or the game week after, whenever you're looking to play your potential wildcard, or use your transfers that you've built up, or your one free transfer that you have for this game week. So before we get into all the players that I've identified to bring in or potentially avoid, and look at the fixture swings as well, which will be ideal for you, making sure that you get the right players in at the right time before the game week start. Before that, what we do is hit that like button if you like the video, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to FPL INKLING. And let's get close to that 1k mark of subscribers. We're almost there, guys. So let's start off with player 1. So the first player I identified is Jamie Vardy. So this guy is considered as one of the premiums in terms of the players for the FPL game. Has he been overlooked at the start of the season from myself and other FPL managers? Potentially, yes. We weren't to be aware to how he was going to start potentially and how he was going to be finishing off after game week 6. So far, he's done extremely well. The real concern I had around Jamie Vardy potentially was his game time, his minutes. Now, he's been a FPL, great for season on season since he's been playing, and he's kind of shown us and told us not to doubt him from the start of this season. So at the moment, if we look at some of his stats, I can read out to you guys: 40 points already in 6 game weeks. So his points per match is 6.66. Now that's one of my favourite facts. Now for a £10.4 million forward, it's the fixtures that he's got coming up. They're not too bad, and he likes to score against Arsenal. He can score against any of the teams listed in his next 5 fixtures as listed on the screen. At 10.4 mil, are any other premium strikers doing as well? So, we can look at someone like a Lukaku, and a Aubameyang, Ronaldo at the moment. So are we overlooking him? That's something that we can look into. So some of his stats, he's got 5 goals so far and 1 assist so far this season. So he's got 6 returns already from the 6 game weeks. And his expected goal involvement. So what I'm using today is a stat where combined of expected goals plus the expected assists. So I'm doing the tally of it, which equals for him is 3.86, which is really good. With the fixtures coming up, is this someone I'd consider? I wish I could get him into my squad because I'm already playing 3 premiums in my squad, which is Trent, Salah and Ronaldo. But for me to get him into my squad at the moment is quite tricky, but he's definitely on my watch list with the games he's got coming up. If he does hit or continue to hit the form he has at the moment after game week 8, which is a Manchester United game, he might be, someone that I might look into potentially bringing into my squad, looking at the games he has to follow after that. In terms of, Leicester themselves, I was expecting Iheanacho to get some more minutes, and he looked even more threatening once he did come on the pitch. Daka was their new signing this summer. He hasn't got, game time as we anticipated, and Jamie Vardy has continued to lead the line. Now, Leicester haven't had the best of starts. That's mainly due down to their defensive worries. So they've had injuries and they haven't looked that great. But up front, Jamie Vardy is kind of carrying the team in terms of the goals and assists that he has taken so far in the 6 games that he's played. So if you're looking to potentially play your wild card, or look for a striker where you can actually afford Jamie Vardy at 10.4 mil, because we're looking at so many midfielders now who are in the mid-range bracket between 5.5 and 7 mil. It does free up a lot of funds for us to potentially use elsewhere on the pitch, and Jamie Vardy could be potentially one of them, where you might look to bring him in alongside, potentially Lukaku or Antonio, who's going to be probably the most favourable or favoured strikers over the next coming game week. So that's why he's my number 1 on this game week watch list, and I'm anticipating to carry on the good form he does have. Now, moving on to the FPL king so far of this season for me is Mikhail Antonio. So he was who's suspended for the game week for the sending off at Southampton for the Manchester United game. West Ham should have come away with a draw. Unfortunately, had that penalty kick missed by Mark Noble, but Mikhail Antonio came back and did what he does best, and he scored against Leeds on the weekend. Potentially could have had another assist if he wasn't given that foul, which was a foul, by the way, against the goalkeeper of Leeds, which is Meslier. But I think generally he looked very, very attacking, and he looked hungry, and he looked fresh. So he didn't play in the midweek games in like the cup games, and he was just, rested for 1 week, you could say, due to suspension. So it shows that his hamstrings were nice, and he rested, I'd say, and he still looked very threatening indeed. Let's look at some underlying stats. He's 7.9 million price, so his price hasn't increased at the time of recording. It can potentially go up. 42.7% of managers own him at the moment. So if you're looking to play the 4-4-2 3-4-3 or 4-3-3 formation, which is the most common formations at the moment, which are being played by FPL managers. Antonio is pretty much, one of the team names which is pretty certain to be first name for you to make a draft or bring him in. So I think, all those 58% of managers who don't have him, the question is why? Are you guys overlooking him? Because he's in my squad and he's there to stay. Touchwood until he doesn't pick up an injury or anything, or a suspension again. But let's look at some of his underlying stats. 47 points already. And 9.4 points per game he's averaging at the moment, and he's got involvements, 5 goals, 4 assists, and his XI, so expected involvement in goals and assists, is 6.55, which is absolutely ridiculous. For the price he's coming in and the fixtures he does have, this is predicted based on the fixture difficulty predictor from the FPL website. He's got Brentford this weekend, so he could be a really good captaincy option considering Manchester United are playing Everton at home. They didn't have a great game against Aston Villa on the weekend, so is Ronaldo going to be as popular? We'll have to wait and see. He's my captain for now, but Antonio is ringing or knocking on the door strongly for me to consider him, because obviously Salah has got Man City, so Man City assets we'll be looking at it as well. So might be a contender for captaincy. And then if you look at his fixtures, Everton I think should be a good game as well for him. Tottenham are pretty much out of form. Aston Villa and then Liverpool. So some really good games coming in. So if you haven't got him in your squad and you're looking to play the wild card, this is a really good time to consider him. And he does have some really good fixtures coming up where I think he can continue his form and give you the rewards he has been given the FPL managers who trusted him, shown faith in him and selected him during the first 6 game weeks. Now moving on to Decore. Now this guy has come out from nowhere really. I guess it's more to do with the the injuries to Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So obviously Gray has been someone who's been looked at, obviously managers like myself who've got him in my squad. And Townsend has done pretty well, who's on penalties as well, but this guy is going a bit under the radar. So if you look at his fixtures, they don't look ideal. For this game week to next game week, they show red. Manchester United at Old Trafford, followed by West Ham United, Watford, Wolves, and then Tottenham. But I still believe, for the value you're playing for him, I think it's around 5.6 mil. This guy looks like a real treat. He's only 5.6 mil, as I mentioned, 4.1% ownership, so it's a good differential. 38 points so far, 6.33 points per match. So that's a really good return for someone you're paying only 5.6 million for. He's got 5 goal involvements, 2 goals, 3 assists, and his XI, so expected goal involvement or assist involvement, is 1.7 as total. That's it. That's a really good return for a player you're not investing that much funds into. I know the fixtures don't look great, but if you're looking to get someone in your squad to free up funds in your wild card, and you don't want to go Demarai Gray or Townsend, Decore might be your man alongside Sarr, and there's potentially other players as well, but this guy's been overlooked. At 4.1%, I definitely would have looked to have got him in if I didn't have Gray in, but Gray's given me the returns. I don't intend to take him out at the moment, but this guy is a really good pick. I personally don't want to double up on Everton, but I think this guy comes in 0.1 million cheaper than Gray at the moment or the time of recording, unless he has a price rise. So worth considering. Rafa's got a good team in terms of the forward line playing. Defensively, they haven't been as great, but if he carries on his form, he gets bonus points at the moment. This guy looks the real deal. Now moving on to Arsenal. What a game they played against Spurs in their North London derby. It was a real joy to see Arsenal playing back to kind of like the free-flowing, attacking, nice, slick football that they're known for. And this guy, Emil Smith-Rowe, really kind of like pulled the strings together. They all played well. You had Partey, Aubameyang, Xhaka, Saka, all these players played really well, but Smith-Rowe really caught my eye, and he got the goal as well on the weekend, which was really, really good. So let's look at some of his background stats. 5.3 mil, not bad. And in terms of the fixtures that Arsenal have coming up, they can be players to be reckoned with. So you've got Ramsdale potentially, Smith-Rowe, Partey, Aubameyang. These are the kind of players we can be looking at. Ben White, for example, in defence, to pick up some really good points at the moment. But why I've highlighted Smith-Rowe is because, he's a differential as well. 3.7% of ownership at the moment. 22 points so far, so 3.66 points per match. It doesn't look that great, but to be fair, Arsenal weren't great. But he really showed some potential in the last couple of games, and I think this guy is definitely worth considering if you're looking to wildcard or looking to bring in some players around this price mark to boost in your squad elsewhere. Expected assists and goals for the expected involvement is 1.58, as he's got 1 goal and 1 assist so far. With those fixtures, I certainly can see him, getting some more points, catching the eye of many more FPL managers. So why not get him in straight away into your squad? Because Arsenal look like, they got their squad back. Injuries are pretty much over, and we can kind of see what Mikhail Arteta's thought process is with his full squad. I'm not sure, if this will continue after the international break, because it might be coming at the wrong time. But looking at his fixtures with hardly any red, I think they're all fixtures that Arsenal can get points in, and this guy can be, the kind of like focal point of them ensuring he gets those wins, and he can get points in the FPL basis as well. Now, how can I make a video on FPL watch list and not talk about any Chelsea players, considering the fixture swing that these guys are having? So green outlines, as you guys can see on the difficulty rating, is so-called a easier fixture for the team, and it's a sea of green here what we have. So we're talking about Rudiger. Now with Chelsea, they've got richest of talent in their team, so along with Man City, it's very difficult to predict who will be playing week in, week out. Rudiger is kind of like one of those players who I can say is safely the first name on the team sheet if he's fit. And they don't have too many games back to back. But looking at the fixtures, Southampton at home, Brentford away, Norwich at home, Newcastle away, and Burnley at home. So a lot of people are going to potentially go for Lukaku up front, followed by the 2 defenders, which seems like the common choice. So the other defenders can be, Rudiger plus Alonso, Rudiger plus Azpilicueta, Rudiger plus Reece James, but he's injured at the moment. Rudiger plus Chilwell if he gets, the reckoning back in the squad, or he catches the eye of Tuchel. But Rudiger is kind of like the main combination along with another defender. I know people are looking at potentially like Kovacic for 5.1 or 5.2 mil he is at the moment. But this guy, seems to be like the player. He got a goal against Tottenham, which is out of the ordinary. But generally, let's have a look into Rudiger and how much he impacts your team, or how he can make your team look. 5.6 mil in price. That this could increase by the time you watch this video. 14% ownership. Again, I expect it to rise with the fixtures that are coming up. 34 points respectively. 5.66 points for a defender is insane so far, considering the games he's played. He's played City already, Liverpool already, so that's still an impressive return. Now, he's only had 1 goal so far. His expected goal or assist involvement is 0.3, which is not bad for a defender of his price. And consistent minutes he's getting with the clean sheets, a really good option for you to consider. Now, if we talked about the defence of Chelsea, how could I possibly not talk about Lukaku? Now, Lukaku is not in my squad at the moment. He won't be for this game week, but for the game week after the international break, I'm pretty much nailed on to bring him in. I don't think it's worthwhile me taking a -4 for Lukaku for Ronaldo, because I think Ronaldo can get me a return as a captain I'm looking for at the moment for the game against Everton. But then after game week 7, they've got Brentford, and game week 8, Norwich, Newcastle, Burnley, which you've discussed. So I think, it's just pretty much a green signal, as you can see from the green fixtures, for me to pick Lukaku. He's had a bit of a lean patch, so, I think in the last 2 or 3 games, he hasn't really scored, 2 points each. But I think he'll come good. There'll be a big haul coming very, very soon, especially with those games lined up. So we have to keep a watch out for him. So if you're looking to play potentially a wild card or a mini wild card with like 4 transfers and only taking 2 hits, this guy might be considerate for you, or to bring him in after game week 8 if that is when you're looking to play your complete wild card. So this is why I talked about Lukaku at the moment, because the main question is Lukaku or Ronaldo, or both. I'm potentially going to go Lukaku only from game week 8, but he's 33.5% of managers own him at the moment. 11.7 mil in price, 27 points, 5.4 points per match. He's got no assists so far. He's got 3 goals. Now his expected involvement XI is 4.39. That's insane. I know he costs a lot, but trust me, in a Chelsea squad where they kind of play through him, he's going to be like the main man to ensure they get the drive and the points that we kind of expect for them to get in the next couple of games. I can see a hat-trick in one of those games potentially. It doesn't generally have to be a hat-trick of goals. It could be a hat-trick of assists plus goals. but he will have some double-digit scores, fingers crossed, coming in for Chelsea there in itself. It's going to be a difficult watch if you don't have him in your squad, like hoping he misses or hoping he just doesn't set up any of the goals. But generally, I think the common trend will be to get Lukaku plus 2 defenders from Chelsea in. That's going to be like the generic template for managers who are looking to wildcard or change the look of their squad, like myself, over the next couple of game weeks. Now, before I go, why not talk about the fixture swing? Why not talk about the fixtures, how they look? So as you can see, what I've done is I've made a table of the next 5 fixtures for the FPL teams that I've chosen. So this is in ranking order of the easiest fixtures selected by the FPL website based on the difficulty. So Chelsea right at the top and Manchester United, whenever I've made this, have always been at the bottom for the last couple of game weeks. So you can see Chelsea at the top with green all over. Leeds, I've not talked about any Leeds players, so maybe Rafinha, who should be fit enough to play. Bamford's out at the moment, so maybe Rodrigo could be considered for you. They've got a lot of green, and Leicester in game week 11. So the kind of plan generically was, before Bamford got injured, was to have Bamford and Rafinha. But with Bamford's injury, that might have to wait until game week 8 or 9 potentially. Arsenal coming at number 3. Really good fixtures, as we discussed when I was talking about Smith Rowe. Leicester, again, we discussed them under Vardy. Nice fixtures. Manchester City, I've not talked about any Man City players, but they've got a real tough run in, Liverpool away, which is cherry red for them because they don't have a good record at Anfield. And Burnley, Brighton, Crystal Palace, followed by Manchester United. So maybe between game week 8 and 10, a Grealish or a Kevin De Bruyne might be an option you consider. Liverpool, they've got Man City at home, Watford away, then Manchester United away, Brighton at home and West Ham away at the London Stadium. So it looks like they got some real difficult fixtures coming up. I'm tripled up on Liverpool, and I don't intend to change it because even with the difficult games, I do expect them somewhere along the line to get me some returns. Manchester United, some of the games on there really surprised me, like Everton at home being a grey. It's a grey now. It was a red originally, so it's not surprised me now. Leicester's a grey. Liverpool, red, understandably, home. Tottenham away, a great understanding. I think that should be a game they should be able to win. And then Man City at home. So they are difficult fixtures. So Ronaldo is known for scoring in difficult games. So is it worth moving from Ronaldo to Lukaku? Again, if this doesn't make it simplified for you, it's entirely your choice. For me, as a United fan, I'll be in a win-win situation for myself. If I have Lukaku in my team and he scores, and if I don't have Ronaldo in my squad and he scores, I'm happy as a United fan. Obviously, the managers who have faith in him will be very relieved, but for me it's a win-win situation for both ways. I potentially tried to get both of them into my squad, but it just doesn't balance my squad, and I can't move forward without Salah or Trent being one of my players in my squad. So I'm going to have to make a sacrifice of Ronaldo to get Lukaku in, or vice versa to avoid Lukaku and keep Ronaldo. But I'm pretty much made my decision in game week 8 to bring Lukaku in. So I hope this simplifies for you what decisions you need to make, and I hope you enjoyed the video of this FPL player watch list. My last game week, I got above the average points, so I'm pretty satisfied with it. My aim is now to continue getting above the average, getting a good points haul, and getting up further in the ranking. So I moved up by about like 350,000. If I can continue that in a couple of weeks, I should be back within the top, let's say, 500,000, 400,000, fingers crossed, and then we can work upwards from there. If you enjoyed this video, all I want you to do is give us a thumbs up. Type that code in below my camera screen and join the FPL INKLING League on the FPL website. And if you haven't done so far, please subscribe to the FPL family, join the family, help us get to the 1K mark. We're getting there at a really good pace. Support us, be part of us, watch our videos, watch my live streams, and I'll be back with some more content. Till then, I want you guys to take care and keep watching.